What's up, y'all? It's your girl Tanya Lady T, rocking out the Ty Tribute. Same God back then. If he did it before, he can do it again. Hey, 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 he is, hey, same God right now. Hey, listen, y'all, wanted to come on this morning and just give a shout of praise to the Most High God. But anyway, I also wanted to come on and say thank you to everyone. Thank you, Living My Best Life, for your ministry, for your love. And I thank all of you who have jumped on the train with your girl, Lady T, and showing your support to me, whether it be it love, be it financial, be it just keeping me lifted in prayer. Amen. And I also wanted to say I hope everyone had a wonderful, happy, belated, happy Thanksgiving. I tell you what, your girl's been on her grind. But anyway, I did want to come on real quickly. I got a couple of videos I'm going to put out. One of the issues, or one of the things or topics I wanted to discuss today is around this time of year, we're around a lot of our family members, and I'm going to just go on and put it out there straightforward. You learn a lot of strange type of information. And what I mean by strange type of information, things as it relates to your family. Because folks are around, you may not have seen each other for a long time. So people begin to talk, and then you have the young teenagers, they're asking questions, or they're sitting around listening to grown folk talk, and they coming in, you know, a day or so later, just candidly ask you about whatever. And I think it's important that we talk to our families about the subject I'm getting ready to talk about. And I'm going to label this video simply the family tree. Let me tell y'all something. And let me see if I can just put it in perspective to help. And some people may say, well, it's none of folks' business, or it's none of children's business. But yeah, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because unresolved issues that we as adults sweep under the rug as it relates to our children can ultimately affect them in their adult life. We've seen it happen many a times. So now, here's the subject at hand. Let's say I'm gonna just use myself, not that this is what's going on or has gone on with me personally, but in order to put things in perspective, let's say I'm the child, okay? I'm the child, okay? And my stepmom is also my aunt, okay? My stepmother is also my aunt. So now how do you derive from that, Lady T? Well, I'm the child. My mother had a child with my father, my biological father. But my biological father also is married to my aunt. Because my mother, again, I'm the child, my mother also had another child with my aunt's brother. So now, the children that are birthed out of that relationship, we are not only brothers, but we're also cousins, first cousins. And a lot of this kind of stuff happens, and you know, we just, you know, oh God. And I'm going to tell you, I had to sit down and rework that thing in my brain so that I could understand what was going on here, the circumstances. But certain things get so convoluted that you really have to step back and say, okay, what's happened here? This is why come you can't, this is why it's not good to do this inbreeding stuff. Because then when these children get older, and you know, teenagers sometimes can be cruel, and they'll say, your daddy is your brother too, ain't he? You know, that type of stuff. I'm talking about that weird, strange information that you start hearing about. And the reason why I bring this up is because I love the show on OWN called Iyanla Fix My Life. And on that show, she, you know, deals with a whole lot of issues that are unresolved from your childhood. Okay? And I was watching the episode with Terrell Owens. He's a, you know, very athletic football player, and now he's down and out. You know, I think he's close to 40, yet does not have a career. He's been kicked off of many football teams because he's a showboater. Just, you know, talk a lot of junk, showboats, this type of thing. Okay, he got a few children here and there with different baby mamas. And in the show, long story short, within that show, that episode, it was learned that his mother had him at a young age, but she was having an affair with the man, with a married man across the street that lived across the street from her. So all these years, Terrell Owens had grew up seeing this man with his married wife and his two young daughters across the street, you know, taking care of that family. Not until his adulthood, and for the first time in his adulthood, actually sat and met with his own biological father, who lived across the street. But you see, back then, when stuff went down, stuff was swept under the rug. And of course, the question was, well, why, Mama, why come you didn't tell me that my daddy lived across the street? So, his grandmother actually raised him, so to speak. And so he was, that hurt as a grown man. He had to go back and get that little boy that was hurt. You know, he was so hurt that it started to come out as he got older. So Iyanla asked him a couple of questions about, you know, well, why do you think you did? He said, because, you know, I didn't get the attention that I wanted. Or I didn't get the love that I wanted. So that's why I do all this showboating in the end zone. Because he didn't get that attention as a child. And I'm all, like I said before my video cut off, I had to come back on. It's just like, you know, I'm going to go ahead on and say this. You know, parents, I'm telling you, we got to talk to our children about this kind of stuff. When they begin to ask questions about it, that means their mind is inquisitive to have some type of void filled, and they really need to know this information. You know, some information, if it's really, really taboo, then yeah, you might have to wait till they're older. But when they begin to have the intellect to ask you about something that's been on their mind, I think we do a disservice to our children when we don't tell them and don't talk to them about certain issues. I really do. But anyway, what I was going to say too is, you know, parents, we got to be careful too. You know, it's your turn to get the children. Let's say you're divorced, you're separated, or whatever. You're never married to the woman that you have children with. Okay, it's your time to keep the children or the child. And then you're supposed to be at the meet-off point at 10 a.m. and the other parent is sitting there waiting with the child, and you don't never show up. And then you come up with some cockamamie flim-flam story. No, if you knew it was your time to come get your kids, unless it was an absolute crisis or a health care problem, you should have been there to pick up your child. And so what you do, you create a memory for that child to say, you know, I used to always sit and wait on my daddy to come pick me up, and he never came. You hear that so much when people get older. And some people say, oh, you know, get over it. You're a grown person now. Yeah, we can say that. But you know what? It still hurts. It still hurts that child to know that they sat there waiting on their daddy or sat there waiting on their mommy and they never showed up. Don't create those type of memories for your children. You do what you need to do. If you laying up with that woman or you laying up with that man and you know you're supposed to be at the local Piggly Wiggly parking lot to pick up your child, you need to be there to pick your child up. So that you know that you're creating a memory that, you know, when it was time for my daddy and mommy to pick me up, they were there. And I know we all aren't perfect, but don't create that, don't make that a constant thing for that child to cling on to, and that's their memory. You know, sometimes we can be so selfish when it comes to doing what is right with our children as they're growing up. God help us today. But anyway, I just wanted to come on today and just address that. The family tree, as it relates to our children. And when we make decisions, and like I said, I know we all are not perfect. I'll raise my hand. But I see so many times where children, teenagers are asking questions, and because we are the adults and we are the parents and we're the grown folk, we so easily sweep things under the rug, and then we look up and we 50, our children are 20, 25, and they learn of these things, and it so hurts them to the core, because you think about our children look to us for guidance. You know, it's just like Jesus. He said, I only do what I see my Father do. I only do what I see my Father tell me to do. So you may not verbally be saying something to your child to do right or wrong, or to do wrong, I should say. They can just watch what you're doing, and watching your actions, oh my God, can have such a monumental effect on how they conduct their lives when they're older. And then when they begin to act out as grown folk, we as parents sometimes tend to throw our hands up even at that point, because we say, well, they're grown, you know, and that is true. But were we not a contributor to the way that they're acting out now? And I think that we still should be able to step in and tell people things while the iron is still hot. If you need to discuss something with your child or your loved ones that you feel that can ultimately come and bite you or bite them, or you see them having some type of behavioral issues, or they just can't seem to socialize with people. Oh, I think it's important that if you know that there's something in the atmosphere there, I think we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to our loved ones that we got to discuss this type of thing. And again, going back to the scenario when I first started the video, a lot of that goes on. A lot of child molestation. Your child comes to you and tell you somebody inappropriately touched them, but because you want to stay with that man, that boyfriend that she's telling you about or he's telling you about, you totally dismiss what your child tells you. The one person that they feel or should feel like they can come and discuss anything with, you totally turn your blind eye to it. It's almost like, okay, you've been given this information and don't know what to do with it. So instead of doing anything with it, you just don't deal with it. You try to pretend like you didn't hear it. And again, same way with, you know, when teenagers begin to ask and say, you know, I was talking to a friend of mine and we got to looking at each other, and our eyebrows are shaped the same, our nose is shaped the same, our lips are shaped the same, and then they find out they're brothers. Or like in some of these cases, when you're in a close-knit community and you're a little teenage boy, you know your testosterone and puberty done kicked in, you start sniffing little girls, start sniffing them. And in the situation with Tawera Owens, you know, he had begun to like the girl across the street, and then it wasn't until he took an interest in the girl across the street. Then that's when everybody had to come. Oh, no, wait a minute now. You can't like her. You can't have a crush on her because that's really your sister. See, stuff like that messes people's mind up. And they play a video. My God. You mean to tell me when I saw him getting out of the car with his wife and those 2 girls, and he over there doing this and that with his family, taking his family here and taking his family there to go out, and the whole while I was his child, seeing that, why didn't I get invited to go out and eat? So when a person gets older or they come into the knowledge of this type of information, they play that video. And how hurtful can that be? How hurtful is that to know that my daddy was living across the street doing all this for this family, and here it is, I was over here with my grandmother, strict grandmother, and barely had anything to eat, or whatever the scenario may be. And all the while, my own daddy was across the street. He didn't even really look at me. He didn't even really speak to me. But yet, that was my own daddy across the street. I just say, you know, if you have that opportunity, if you know something's going on in your household, and you have that knot in your throat or in your chest, and you're sitting on pins and needles, oh God, when is this going to come out? Maybe it'll come out where somebody else tell him or her, and I don't have to really tell her. And when she finds out about it, then I can just say, well, yeah, that's what happened. But you weren't the initiator of coming clean with your loved one. Oh, y'all hear me today. Anybody that's going through something like that, I'm telling you, there's a consequence to be paid. Because you know what? When we stand before God, not only are we going to be judged on the things we did do, but we're also going to be judged on the things that we did not do. So anyway, I know this is a long video, but I did want to come on and talk about that. The family tree. What branches, what leaves are you leaving? What issues are not being dealt with? And like I said, I just thought about this thing because, you know, this is the opportunity. A lot of times when we get together as family, an extended family, immediate family and abroad, sometimes, you know, we all wanted to be happy. And yes, that's also true. But if there's an opportunity for you to discuss some things with your family members and get this type of information out so that people can stop hurting and they can finally have that question answered. This is why I feel. This is why I'm acting out. This is why I'm doing this. And what you tell them, they can overcome that spirit of heaviness. If they're still broken, your testimony of what has went down can set people free. So anyway, I just wanted to come on and talk about that, y'all. We got 3 weeks before Christmas. Amen. Don't get out there and scream and holler and carry on with them folks and get arrested and get hurt after a toy. But enjoy yourself. And this is a season to love one another and be there for one another. So anyway, I'll probably get back on, and like I said, I got a couple more videos and topics I want to talk about. But anyway, let's take care of one another, y'all. What's going on in your family tree? Amen. Anyway, God bless you, and may the peace of the Lord be with you.